The hidden mistake that could destroy the 2026 FIFA World Cup. You think the 2026 World Cup is going to be the greatest in history? Wrong. There is a mistake, silent, ignored, and dangerous, being made right now. A mistake that has already destroyed tournaments in the past. A mistake that FIFA knows about, that the clubs know about, and that nobody is talking about. And if you watch this video until the end, you'll understand why the 2026 World Cup might be remembered not as the greatest football party in history, but as the biggest sports scandal of the modern era. Stay here, because this is going to change everything you think you know about football. To understand the mistake, you need to understand the scale of what's being built. The 2026 World Cup will take place across 3 countries simultaneously: the United States, Canada, and Mexico. For the first time in history, 48 national teams will compete in the tournament, not the traditional 32. That means more games, more groups, more travel, more logistical pressure, and a whole lot more money on the line. FIFA projects revenues of over $11 billion from this tournament. There will be 104 matches played across 16 cities spread over a combined territory larger than all of Europe. The greatest World Cup in history? On paper, yes. But when you start looking beneath the surface, what you find isn't gold, it's quicksand. The crack in the project. Let's talk about something very few football channels have the courage to address. The global football calendar is broken. And it didn't just break recently. Ever since FIFA approved the new 2026 World Cup format, European clubs have been collapsing in silence. The reason? The players who will compete in the World Cup, the best in the world, the Mbappés, the Viniciuses, the Pedris, will arrive at the tournament completely destroyed. Think about it. The European season ends in June. The World Cup begins in June. Between those 2 moments, there's a recovery window that, in practice, doesn't exist. Players from the top leagues, the Premier League, La Liga, Serie A, the Bundesliga, play between 50 and 70 matches per season. And that's before accounting for international friendlies, the Club World Cup, and all the other tournaments FIFA keeps inserting into the calendar as if athletes were machines. But here's the part that's going to make you angry. FIFA knows this. The clubs know this. UEFA knows this. And yet, nobody has stopped to ask, what happens when the best players in the world arrive at the greatest World Cup in history running on empty? The answer is in history, and history is brutal. When football already lived through this. We're not talking theory here. We're talking about patterns that keep repeating themselves. 2002 World Cup, South Korea and Japan. Zinedine Zidane arrived injured. France, the 1998 champions and runners-up, was eliminated in the group stage without scoring a single goal. One of the greatest squads ever assembled, dismantled before it even started. 2010 World Cup, South Africa. Spain won with a squad that had just come through a brutal season, but most of the favorites, Italy, France, Argentina, entered the tournament with players at their physical limits and crashed out far earlier than expected. 2022 World Cup, Qatar, played in the middle of the European season to avoid the summer heat. The result? An even more insane calendar, with players competing in the World Cup and returning to their clubs in under 2 weeks. Injuries exploded. Entire seasons were derailed. And now in 2026, has FIFA fixed the problem? No, it has made it worse. Here is the hidden mistake that nobody wants to name out loud. FIFA created the 2025 Club World Cup, 32 teams, 63 matches, hosted in the United States, exactly 1 year before the 2026 World Cup, in the same stadiums with the same players. Coincidence? Not even close. The club tournament runs from June to July 2025. The best players in the world will compete for over a month at the highest level. And 12 months later, those same players will be representing their national teams at the World Cup. Let's do the math. 2024-25 European season, August to June, approximately 55 to 70 matches. 2025 Club World Cup, June to July, up to 7 additional matches. 2025-26 preseason, July to August, club pressure for a fast return. 2025-26 European season, August to June, again, 55 to 70 matches. 2026 World Cup, June to July, up to 7 matches in the tournament. We are talking about players who could arrive at the 2026 World Cup having played over 130 matches in the previous 2 years, with no real rest, no proper recovery, muscles at their limit, and minds completely drained. This isn't speculation, this is mathematics. And the most outrageous part? The Association of Football Players Unions, the Global Players Union, has already filed a legal case against FIFA over exactly this issue. The athletes are shouting about it, doctors are raising the alarm, coaches are complaining behind closed doors, and FIFA? It keeps selling sponsorship packages. If you want to keep receiving analysis that goes beyond the obvious, subscribe to Football Atlas right now. We don't repeat what everyone else is saying. We show you what no one wants to see. Hit the bell and turn on notifications. Videos like this disappear from the algorithm fast. Now, picture the concrete scenario. It's July 2026, World Cup final, Brazil against France, or whatever matchup you want to imagine. The stadium holds 90,000 people, over 1 billion watching around the world, and on the pitch, the players are walking. Not because they don't want to play, but because the human body has limits that no million-dollar contract can override. This has already happened in overloaded World Cups before, and it will happen again. But the problem goes beyond the technical quality of the game. The real risk is something else entirely: serious injuries at decisive moments. When a player steps onto the pitch without proper recovery, the probability of muscle tears, ligament damage, or stress fractures increases exponentially. Sports science is clear on this. It's not an opinion, it's data. And when a superstar goes down injured in a World Cup semifinal, it's not just one player who is lost. It's an entire narrative that collapses. It's the tournament losing its meaning. It's FIFA's billion-dollar investment going up in smoke. The 2026 World Cup could be the World Cup without the best players in the world, or with half versions of them. The numbers FIFA doesn't want you to see. A study by FIFPro, the World Players Federation, found that players who compete in more than 60 matches per season are 3.5 times more likely to suffer a serious muscle injury in the following season. In 2023-24, Erling Haaland played 62 games, Kylian Mbappe played 58, Vinicius Jr. reached 57. Rodri, who later won the Ballon d'Or, suffered a ligament rupture that ruled him out for the entire season. Rodri, the best midfielder in the world, out because of too many matches. Now, multiply that risk by an even more congested calendar, with the Club World Cup right in the middle, and you'll understand why some of the biggest names in football are quietly hoping not to qualify for certain competitions. This isn't a rumor. Players, anonymously, have already admitted this to European journalists. The system is so broken that the players themselves are afraid of winning too much. And here is my opinion, and I know it's going to make a lot of people uncomfortable. FIFA isn't making a mistake, it's making a choice. There's a massive difference between making an error out of ignorance and making a conscious decision while fully aware of the consequences. FIFA has the data, it has the studies, it has the warnings, and yet, approval after approval, it keeps pushing more games, more tournaments, more dates into the calendar. Why? Because every extra game means more money. Because every extra tournament means another broadcasting deal. Because the Club World Cup rights were sold for $1 billion to streaming platforms. And because, when it comes down to it, for FIFA, the players are the product, not the protagonists. Football was built on heroes: Pelé, Maradona, Ronaldo, Zidane, Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo. These names carried entire generations of fans. They built cultures. They transformed countries. But the FIFA of 2026 is building a model where the spectacle matters more than the spectacular ones. And when the spectacle consumes the spectacular, what's left? A World Cup that is massive, colorful, with 48 teams and 104 games, and completely soulless. That's my reading, and I might be wrong, but the history of football shows that when the best players in the world arrive at a major tournament, the major tournament ends up being smaller than it promised to be. The 2026 World Cup has everything to be the greatest in history, but it also has everything to be the greatest disappointment. So, what do you think? Is FIFA making a historic mistake with the overloaded calendar, or do modern players have enough support structure to handle it? Tell me in the comments. I want to read your take. And if this video made you think differently about something, share it with that friend who thinks they know everything about football. Bet they didn't know any of this. Here at Football Atlas, we don't just watch the game, we read the game. Subscribe, hit the bell, and we'll see you in the next video. Football Atlas. Football has more layers than you think.